Suggested by the community. We'll take a look at call for inputs which are open and follow the decisions from the closed one and a few other discussion topic along with EIPS Insight. So starting with the first item on the agenda, these are a list of pull requests which are for edits to be made to final proposals. The first one is PR 9226 on EIP repository. This is by myself. I think in one of the earlier meetings, we discussed that this proposal is missing the fork timestamp value, and we should add it because this proposal has moved into final. Yeah, I wonder what editors think. I think we have received one approval from editor. We might need more than one editor to approve because this is a final proposal. Victor, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. I see you are unmuted. Okay. Yeah, Sam, do you have any thoughts on that? I think Victor.
Yeah, I approved it.
Okay, perfect. So it should be good there. Moving on to the next one. This is for pull request number 9186. It contains a bunch of typographical error, of course. Here, yeah, some of the approvals have already been received by the original authors, but since the proposer is listed a bunch of EIPs, we may not have received approval from all. General thought process here. Merge them all, wait for approval.
I'll take a look through this one. If it's all just small typo fixes, I'll just merge it.
Sounds good. Moving on to the next one, which is for update EIP 101. Pull request number is 9199. So EIP 101 is stagnant. Basically, this pull request contains changes to 3 files. Out of 3, 2 are already stagnant and are core proposals, which means they are most likely not to be moved forever. Like one is 101, which is related to Serenity, and the other one is 4863, which is related to beacon chain push withdrawal. Now Chapella has done, we already passed Serenity upgrade, so we may not be ever pushing it. But there is one more proposal listed here, which is into final status 2565. If I remember correctly, in the earlier meetings, we decided that we may not be moving, like updating to any stagnant proposal because that will change the state of stagnancy. But for final proposal, definitely would require editor's thought here. Like, do we want to merge it or what do we want to do here?
Yeah, this is removing the like preamble and stuff, so we're definitely not going to merge this. I don't know what this pull request is supposed to be doing, but yeah, we're not going to be merging this.
It would be nice to just leave a comment over there, and eventually this can be closed. Moving ahead, I think we have received a couple of updates to EIP1. One of them is definitely under draft, so we may not discuss it today, or if you want to add any clarity or any information around that, Sam, you can go ahead and do that. But the first one, which is already in draft status, it's your proposal. I don't know if you would want to add something to just give a high-level overview, or if any editors have thoughts on this. Like, is there anything that is stopping it from merging?
Which was this? This is 9151?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just missed this comment.
I think you have made the last update, and after that, there is no new comments there. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll take care of this one. There's not much to do here for anybody else.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because this is for EIP1. If any other editor has any objection or they are fine, it would be nice to have their comment added there, because generally for EIP1, we try to take two editors' consent to merge it. It would be nice to have. All right. I see PR number 9153 is still is in draft status. Would you want to discuss that, or you want to keep it as is? A question for Sam.
9151? Or
915.
9153? Yeah, that one's still waiting on a call for input. So there's
Okay,
nothing to do there. We can talk about it during the call for input section.
sounds good. Okay, now comes one of the interesting draft proposal that we have received. It is listed under the other topics, and the pull request number is 9174. So this is a proposal for on-chain upgrade signaling. An author is trying to propose some changes to Ethereum mainnet. However, it seems like some people think that it may be on the mainnet ever, and it may not be. Definitely a decision to be taken by co-dev, but this proposal is waiting to be merged in form of draft. I see the comment by Gajinder Singh earlier and some discussion. Gajinder, if you would like to maybe provide some high-level overview of it, what it is, and we can collect thoughts from editors what to do about this proposal.
Yeah. So, do we have the author here? I thought author was going to join us.
Unfortunately not. I have also invited him. I sent him the Zoom link. I don't know why he's not here.
Okay, I think this PR talks about introducing an upgrade mechanism through extra data, where people would say that, okay, validators would signal that they are ready for the next upgrade, and then the votes would be counted, and at some point the clients will decide that it's time to upgrade. So this is, I think, what the PR says. But as Sam also mentioned, that the mechanism isn't quite fully chiseled out, so which I added as a comment. But even if for example, the specification detail is added by the author, do we want to have it? Because at some point earlier, when I was doing editing, I thought that Matt mentioned that we don't want to have EIPs that will not end up or they are not going to be considered in for upgrade in ACD. And so my question is whether this, for example, this PR has a discussion to link like all others, and in the discussion to whether it should first gather enough support for us to then basically consider and merge it, and of course with getting all the specifications properly documented in the EIP.
So my opinion on this is that it is a properly formatted EIP. So it should be assigned a number and merged. But then if it goes on all core devs, because like you can't really talk about it on all core devs without an EIP number, or at least it's difficult to. So if this ever does get brought up on all core devs, we want to be able to say, hey, are we ever going to do EIP 7848? And then people will say, no, that's a terrible idea, or whatever they decide to say. Maybe they say yes, I don't know. But we should still give it a number, because as editors, I don't think we should be making decisions about the technical viability of something. Like, this is possible to
No.
implement. So yeah.
Yeah, so it is correctly formatted, but its specification is not complete. For example, it does not say how the voting is to be incorporated and when the vote is to be decided, that, okay, you know, so all these
Okay,
things
that
are not
makes
really
sense
there.
then. Yeah, that would be a good reason to hold it up.
Yeah, so basically, if we get that incorporated, then probably we can then merge it for sure, I guess. What is your take on this, Matt?
That's fine with me.
I just want to try to understand this one thing right here, neither in favor nor in against of merging it, but just for the process point of view. I think specification is something that can be worked on it while it is in draft or review status. Personally, I don't see that as a blocker in order to be not merged as draft. But yeah, ultimately it's editor's decision, just trying to understand what we are trying to communicate it to community as an author, like what you should be coming up when you are proposing something as draft.
Yeah,
I think the
think
bar. Oh, go ahead.
So but I with regard to this particular EIP, I think it's pretty important to know what is the how exactly the voting client is going to vote, and how exactly they are going to decide that the vote is finalized. So that is the only thing with regard to completeness of the idea, and of course, you know, the details can come in later. But seems like to me that this should be a part of the EIP, I guess. Sam, what were you saying?
That's basically what I was saying too. I think you need to be able to judge, like, at a very high level, whether or not the proposal is like feasible. And for that, you need to have, I don't know, I haven't read this yet, but you need to have a general idea of how it's going to be implemented. And if it's missing some key points, then I think it's reasonable to ask the author to fill them in before getting merged as draft, even if it's just like a to-do that says like, this is what I'm thinking, write it out in full or something like that. But just to get the general idea across.
Sounds good to me as well. I see a couple of client devs as well. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it, and neither we are going to make any decision, but if you guys have any high level thoughts or opinion about this proposal, feel free to add. And yes, Victor, I think you unmuted, wanted to add something. Feel free. Okay. In that case, Gajendra, would you mind adding just a comment like what specification that author should add here in order to get this proposal more well structured, and minimum specification that is required for this proposal in order to get it merged? I think that would be the next step.
Yeah, I think I added that comment, but I will sort of re-highlight it and say that, okay, we'll accept this EIP once we have most of the things in.
Maybe just don't use the word accept. I don't want to confuse people that it is going to be accepted on mainnet because you are a client developer as well. So maybe we can just merge this as,
Yeah, just say merge.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next one. So here, I think it was mentioned on Carada's Discord that we may want to have a tag that can help EAP process. I guess it was started by, the thread was started by Gajendra. Would you want to provide an overview of it, what it is and what you are expecting the bot team to add it for you?
Regarding the stagnant EAPs?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, I think what really happens is that the EIPs get marked as stagnant. I mean, basically there is a PR that opens up, and sometimes when I do get to take a look at it for the EIPs that are under review, I close the PRs. But if something escapes, and what really happens is that they get auto merged at some point. So which basically is a problem. Then the author comes back and says that this is in review because it's already considered, for example, for Pectra, and this happened on one particular EIP, I think MaxCB EIP. So what we should do is we should remove the auto merge from the stagnant EIP PRs. If we want to merge those stagnant EIP PRs, we can do a manual trigger by approving them.
Sam, you're on mute. You are still unmuted. Sorry, you are still on mute. Might want to do it.
Hello now. No?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay, weird. But now I completely forgot what I was going to say. Isn't the stagnant delay like 6 months? Something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this particular PR got merged.
Like the stagnant PR or?
No. The PR to move from review to stagnant.
Right, but like, had the file been edited in the past 6 months?
Maybe it has not been edited, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it hasn't been edited in 6 months, I feel like it can move to stagnant. I don't know. That's maybe just my opinion.
Basically, I think it's just that it's under review, and I mean, it's already, for example, this particular EIP has already been included in Pectra, and people are working on this feature has been implemented and is included, and people are no more working on it in the sense that there are no more edits on this particular EIP, and they are working on other features while the Pectra fork is getting finalized, and then this stagnation happens. And there are other examples like 7709 PR, which keeps coming up, as well as other Workal PRs which keep coming up. They are actively being considered for the future folks, and they are part of active development, but there's nothing to change on these EIPs. And of course, these so these this is gonna last, like, Workal, for example, might not happen till 2026. So it's like, a long time period where these PRs just keep getting created, and I just have to keep closing them, or they should get created after 6 months of last PR being closed. I'm not sure what is the mechanism of the PR being created to move them to stagnant. And if some PR basically escapes my eye and I'm not able to close it, or an author does not notify me, then they get auto merged. What I really want is that they shouldn't get auto merged. That is the only thing that I want. That so if, for example, we can have, for example, in this particular EIP meeting, if there are any open PRs to move for stagnation, we can talk and discuss and merge them, unless I know for sure, or some other editor know for sure, that it's not it's still going to be under active development, and then basically one can close that PR right away without merging them. So what I want is that there should be a manual trigger for it, and maybe we can, if there are any open stagnant PRs, move to stagnant PRs that are out there for long, which somebody has not seen or taken action upon, either by merging or by closing the PR. Then basically we can have them listed in EIPIP meeting and take a manual action.
In my mind, like when we created this bot, the idea was like it should work with less editor's intervention. And I think I heard a proposal or a suggestion right here that maybe an editor be able to close these stagnant spots PR. So I think we should not just disable the property, that it should not get merged. Rather, doing that, we can perhaps make it in a way that when an editor finds it, because after sending this
No,
notification.
no. So Pooja, I'm able to close them whenever I see them, but sometimes what really happens is that either author does not notify me or it escapes my eye, and then one sort of PR goes through, and then it sort of create pains for everyone. Also, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what are other thoughts here, because disabling it for like making a manual, I think generally when we get into stagnant status, we receive a bunch of PRs, like 20 plus proposals are getting into stagnant in one lot. So it could increase job, but definitely can be added in EIPIP meeting and taken a look. I don't know who is actively working on it. Sam, is there anyone? Because I know when Panda Peep was there, he was looking into this. Do we have anybody actively looking into this and can be modified?
There's a bot that does the stagnant, and you can configure it in the YAML files. I'm just arguing that I think we should just assume that if a proposal hasn't been edited in 6 months, it's stagnant. And then if the author doesn't want it to be stagnant, they can just open a PR to move it back to whatever it used to be. Like 6 months without any edits at all is a really long time.
But we do have functional EIPs that are going into this again and again. And for example, worker-related EIPs 7709, it always, I think every 2 weeks or every month, it creates a stagnant, move to stagnant PR, and which I keep on closing and rejecting. So either
if you touch the
one should
file,
do that.
it'll reset it for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, touching a file is sort of a pain, right? So
I guess, yeah.
So as an editor, it's not that handy for me, right? So if I'm closing a PR, which basically is a move to stagnant, maybe that should make sure that the board doesn't touch that particular EIP for the next 6 months. I think that would still be okay.
I can look into that. I'll add it to my list.
I see a comment. I'm just trying to understand here. Like if we keep bumping that EIP to future fork, I don't think it will make any changes to the original file of the proposal. So not sure if it can be helpful in any way.
So that was a comment about the claim that if you haven't touched it, edited in 6 months, that it's a dead EIP. There's lots of EIPs that are ready to go in forks that we go up and try and get them scheduled, and they get bumped to future forks. And nothing needs to change about the EIP. It's just a process management thing. And since forks are on a 12-month schedule, getting a thing bumped means there might not be any relevant edits for, 12, 18 months. And the EIP is far from dead. It's just waiting in line for its place to go forward.
Yeah, I think that is a valid concern here. Very well. So just for documentation of notes, maybe Sam, if you can take a look at it and we can discuss it either on the Discord channel or by the next meeting, whenever it is, like whenever there are any solution for this, or you have any thoughts, or if any other editor has any thoughts and proposals in order to change the process of current stagnant bot, would be happy to implement that. All right.
So
next.
maybe what we can do is that the PRs that are in review state, we don't auto merge to stagnant, but PRs which are in draft stage could be auto merged to stagnant.
Well, could we add unique tags for CFI for specifically named hard fork and exclude those from the search bot? So when they fall out of CFI for a particular hard fork and they don't have a hard fork name for them, then they become eligible?
I can certainly look into the options here. I think we're just using like a pre-made bot to do this, so I'll see what it can do.
Cool. We'll keep it open and maybe we'll get back on this in the next meeting. But yeah, please feel free to add any suggestions on the Discord channel. So anyone interested from the community, if they have some ideas on this bot, may be able to help us with this, they can come forward. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is call for inputs. I see 3 open and 1 closed. Sam, if you would like to take this section and maybe provide high-level overview for each one of them.
Sure. Let me just go and find there. Okay. So 373, this is redefining the meta and info categories. So if we merge this CFI, meta will only be for EIPIP related stuff, and all hard fork, what are currently metas, will be moved to the info category. My argument for doing this is because like meta is kind of relating to itself would be the my definition of meta, and that makes this more clear. And we had talked about this in last month's call, so this is kind of just following up on that. Then the next one we have here is 374. So EIP 7675 is a list of retroactively added hard forks, or retroactively added EIPs. So for example, preventing accounts with code to send like regular transactions as an example of a retroactive EIP. Because this list will never come to an end, there will probably always be more retroactive EIPs in the future. I think that this EIP is outside the scope of what we should be doing. So I would like to close this EIP and instead recommend that these retroactive EIPs should be included in hard fork descriptions in a separate header. So this is, again, 374, and I'd appreciate people's comments on it. Then 375, and if anybody wants to discuss on the call, just interrupt me, by the way, I don't mind. Wait, 375, what are you? I'm not sure if that's the correct link, Pooja. Yeah, okay, so I'll skip that one. And then 367. Yeah, so this one is somebody wanted to link to an ISO standards currency list. The standard itself is not available for free, but the list of currencies is. We had decided to not allow that link, and yeah, that's that.
So Sam, it was, oh yeah, 376 it was. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, allow links to blockchain commons. Yeah, okay. So this is another request for an external origin that people want to link to. This is a standards group called Blockchain Commons. They maintain a standard on encoding streams of data as QR codes. So like instead of one QR code, it's like a video of QR codes that you scan to allow for transferring more data. If we want to allow links to it, just comment on here, and if we don't, also comment on here. They're also relatively new. They started in 2019, and I think that's my biggest objection to allowing links to them. And I believe that's all of the calls for inputs.
Just as a reminder, for 373 and 374, the last date, the deadline is January 17th, and today is already January 15th. So please add your thoughts. I'm a little bit unclear from the comment of one of the editors. I think, Gajendra, your comment isn't very clear. Like, is it in favor or against? What do you want to do? It would be nice if we can clarify that. I see Sam is already in favor. So yeah, that would help us finish this, close this, yeah, make any decision on that. And any other editors, please add your comments in next 2 days in order to decide on call for input. All right, moving ahead, we have a bunch of other discussions and updates from the past meetings. Okay, so just to provide some context here, we are hoping to have some new people joining in the community to help us with EIP editing, EIP reviewing, and I'm proposing to have this an intermediate position called EIP reviewers. So generally speaking, EIP editors are helping out with only editorial aspects of it, which is great, which is good, which is needed to in order to guard like whether the standards are meeting the basic minimum requirement and template. We already have discussed this in this meeting itself. The proposal here is to maybe add more reviewers for a kind of technical review in terms of core and ERC proposals, especially because there are so many proposals which are, especially on ERC category, I have noticed that they are a standard, but there may not be an implementation of this, an active implementation. So they are, or maybe just one active implementation. So it would be nice to have this set of reviewers in addition to EIP editors who can help us like understand if the codes are nice and valid and things like that. So I have added a link to a document right there. It is just a proposal. Here the idea is like reviewers would be on a high level, reviewers would be looking into the proposals added as a draft or any new pull request which is coming up and trying to add their feedback. It can be editorial, it can be technical, but they can add their feedback. This would help EIP editors to review it fast. And if they can simply add, okay, fine, this pull request is ready to be merged, then editor may be able to merge. So they may have almost equal permissions except for two things that they would not be able to provide the number and they would not be able to force merge. Other than that, whatever editors do, they can also do. And I find it would be very valuable in order to get right proposals to be added as a standard. Like in the meeting today itself, we discussed about a proposal which was not spec ready. So this can be filtered out and the basic level before getting it merged. Would love to hear thoughts and comments on this on this particular topic. So we can design the process accordingly and may be able to share it in the workshop which we are planning this month.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea to more formalize this position.
I generally in favor of having more reviewers participating. I think having some new position would be a good idea. If there's a way to form the groups, that would be even better. Love to hear other editors' thoughts.
Very well. It sounds like most of the editors are in favor. I have shared the link to the document. If you guys have any thoughts, feedback, comment, please try to add it there. And we can obviously keep it improved. And we will share it with the community on the workshop that we are planning to have. So I have added at the end is like KPIs to measure success. We want to do it as a trial basis. So say, for example, some reviewer is working on this process and have been engaged with the reviewing process for 6 months or 1 year, then he can be promoted to EIP editor. And that would be a good addition to the existing editors that we are having. So it can be considered as an intermediate position and maybe a future editor. So we'll discuss more and feel free to add your thoughts here. Next is new editors checklist. In the last meeting, we discussed a couple of things. There were some tips by Sam Wilson. There were some high-level onboarding checklists from my end. I think we decided to have these things documented, part in EIP 1 and part in EIP 5069, I guess. I'm not sure if there are any open pull requests. Sorry, from my end, I have not made any pull request to update these proposals. If anybody else has made any pull request or has any additional comment on these topics, please let us know. If not, then we can perhaps revisit when respective pull requests are there, and then we'll discuss whether to merge or not. Moving on, the next one is a EIP Editors Workshop. We are planning this workshop on January 17th. I have added the link to the agenda here. The meeting will be organized at 1600 UTC. I'm hoping to have a high-level overview of the current process. Then Sam Wilson will be sharing a demonstration of editing of a proposal like he always does it in editing office hours, but that would be just a walkthrough right in presence of interested participants so they can ask their questions right then and there. Yeah, it's a Friday. Is that okay, Sam, or do you think it would
Oh
be
yeah. I'm just saying it's not next week. It's this Friday if anybody wants to come.
perfect? Yeah. And I'm in active conversation with other editors to have more editing office hour. Right now, we do have 2 editing office hours in a month, but I'm hoping to have more active office hours and maybe something dedicated to EIPs only. Right now, in our current office hours, we receive a bunch of ERC, which Sam is definitely helping us clear it out. But there are certain questions coming up from the core side of the proposals. So we can also have dedicated office hours for core proposals discussion, review, or maybe for new developers to understand how they can document their proposal even better. So that's on that. Wait for the announcement, which is upcoming this Friday. Moving on to the next section, we have EIPS Insight for monthly status reporting. I see Vivian on the call. I think you have mentioned you want to demo some tool. Please take it away from here.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. So, upon the request in the last EIPIP meeting, we have created a new tool for assisting of creating EIP template process. And I have also shared the link in case if you want to visit. So this will take the inputs from the user one by one, and you can also be seeing the expected output on the right side along with the preview of that. So let me show. You can see the output over here, and the reason why this tool can be considered as important is it can be quite helpful when a new person who wants to create a EIP template will be using this. So we have also added these instructions about what to add and the structuring of that. Like for author, we can see the clear structuring of that so that they won't be inputting wrong details. And also we have added some basic checks for ensuring that the data is correct and is in the expected format. For example, currently I have filled out the data for EIP 7600, and once I have completed filling this, I'll click on validate in order to validate, and if it is successful, then it will be showing a message like this, and after that we can download it.
Oh, that's really cool. So are you using EIPW to do that?
No, actually, for EIPW, like we thought of integrating that, but there are some things like it was throwing an error for the request field when we are inputting it like this. It was throwing an error for that, and
Oh,
like
weird.
yeah, that's the reason we excluded that part. But we added basic checks of our own. For example, currently these all these EIP numbers are existing ones. Let's say I'm changing the EIP number 77020. This is non-existent. So I'll click on validate now, and it will be throwing an error as an invalid reference, so that it will ensure that only the valid EIPs will be uh, specified in that. And let's say I'm entering a wrong format for date, and I'll click on validate, and it will be throwing the errors like check your data for this field and this field like that. And so this is how it actually works. And you can also have the code, expected code is over here, and the preview of that over here, and the output file that I just generated. So this is how it looks like. I have added some basic data, and this is how it looks like for the graph. And similarly, you can build separately for ERCs and RIPs template. And the way it will be assisting is, for example, let's say, currently all the EIP numbers are like this, right? So when we are creating it for RIPs, the link should be mentioned in a different way like this. So it will automatically convert all those links. So it will be quite helpful for everyone in order to do that. It will be similar for ERCs and RIPs as well. So this is a tool that we developed, and you can visit it over here in tools section for EIP proposal builder, or is this link. And the other updates that we have made, one is for
If I may interrupt you here for a minute, I have a question.
yeah.
That one. So the EIPW bot that we have currently, that has a special feature, especially for the required section, that it would not allow a proposal to be listed unless their status is like cleared. So for example, if someone is trying to add a proposal which is in, let's say, draft status, they cannot be used for another proposal in higher
Okay.
status than draft. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can
so
fix
right
that.
now that's disabled because of the repository split. So we don't have that check right now anyways.
Okay. In that case, then here I think just validating the number is good enough, because this tool is hoping to provide drafts only, like anybody creating it and draft only, so they
Yeah,
don't.
here it is only for draft.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and like you can split it based on the, like, if you want to only edit the data, you can use over here. Like we have added these options in order to make it more easier for you.
Okay, one more
And
question I have
yeah,
here. With respect to adding EIP or ERC number in respective document. So for example, if an ERC has to refer to an EIP, how that can be taken care of? Like how?
yeah, about that, I have a question actually. So this is for the documentation for ERC 1077, and this is how it is specified for EIP 20. Or EIP 191, which is mentioned over here. Is this
Yeah,
the
this
correct
is
format, or?
no. So it should be ERC, but because it's like from 2018, we don't really update it until somebody touches the file.
Like my question was, if we, like currently this is for ERCS repository, and if we want to refer an EIP, should we be linking it like this, or we have to add a direct link of the GitHub repository along with that?
So all of the links should be relative. So like
Okay.
/EIP-20.md.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, that is okay. We'll update the other ones based on that. Yeah, thank you for that. And the second update is for the RIP proposals, and we have added this feature for toggling between type and status so that we can have a clear view of them. This is for type and this is for the status. And also you can get all the charts and data of all of them at one place. For EIP, ERC, and RIP, you can get all the data at one place. Currently, it is showing all this data based on the type. And when you toggle to, based on status, and when you toggle to type, all this data will be changed for the type as well. Similarly for EIP and ERC, so that everything will be in one place and it can be easily accessible. And in case if you want to access all the data for all EIP, ERC, and RIP at one place, you can go to the all section where everything is combined over here. That is on the thing. And the third update is regarding the search part. And previously we have provided three different tools based on the in this section for author and EIP and title, and now you can access all of them in a single place by using the search bar, and you can just change this and you can directly use it over here. So these are the updates for the website part. And coming to the monthly insight part, the changes of this month, EIPs, ERGs, and RIPs can be visible over here, and you can download or visit the individual ones in order to check out the data of them. And also, for your reference, we have also added this feature where you can share this link so that we can directly go to this place when you open. I mean, we have modified it so that you can share it easily, all of them. So that's the update from my side. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I have one more question. In the
Yeah.
monthly insight part, I don't see the name of any RIP editors. Like I'm referring to the document, the meta document of RIP. It says Ansgar, Carl, Yoav, and Nicholas. Just curious, like, did you not get a hand on the editors list, or because I see in draft there is one RIP move there. Would you want to maybe update the tool, or yeah?
Yeah, we'll update the tool for that. Thanks for pointing that out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And also, I forgot to mention this, but we have made a PR in the EIP's repository and also shared the link in the agenda. If any editor will be having a look at that for adding it to eiph.ethereum.org, it will be quite helpful for us. And it can be accessible for everyone. So please consider it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Vivin. I have shared the link to the PR. It's 9244 in chat here. Editors may be able to add their feedback, and if that looks fine, that can be approved. If there are any changes, that can be added as comment, and we'll bring it up in the next meeting, if it is not merged by that time.
Yeah, okay.
All right, moving ahead, we have EIP editing office hour. I have added the agenda for our 50th editing office hour. Congratulations to everyone. We are reaching to 50th hour of editing office for EIP editing, and that's great. There has been a lot of learning, and I hope that this would help and will continue helping the new authors, new developers in the ecosystem to propose their standards. People may refer to earlier videos. I have added the link to the last one, but there is a playlist at ETHCAT Headers YouTube that can be followed there. Other than that, I'm quickly taking a look at the last meeting notes. I think it was pending on us to add some PR, which is not done. I will try to get it done before the next meeting. Other than that, it looks all good to me. Anyone has any other question, comment, topic that they would want to add for future meeting or want to bring it up today here in this meeting? Very well. In that case, thank you everyone for joining us here. I hope the next meeting is on February 19, just for people to know who aren't aware of this new cadence. We try to meet every third Wednesday of the month at 1500 UTC. But I'm hoping to see some of you before February 19th on the call for EIP Editors Workshop on 17th January at 1600 UTC. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining here and have a good rest of the way.